So we've all been in this same scenario before, at least once in our work life. You wake up early for work. Things aren't exactly going your way in the morning. Your alarm wakes you up late, or you miss out on breakfast. Whatever. You try to bounce back when you get to work, but all of a sudden, your manager, he's starting to bark out orders, whatnot. He's not being, very friendly or, conscious of what kind of like morning you've had, kind of thing. Or you just have like employees or associates that are just not. I guess they're not being very friendly, being very nice, they're not following direction or anything like that. So I mean, in situations like that, like what do you do, and like how do you respond to that? And I think, or we think, the best way in order to do that is with positive reinforcement. And positive reinforcement is one of the most beneficial ways you can build work productivity and then a team cohesiveness there. And then I feel like it also promotes less turnover later down the employee's line, and it just creates an overall better atmosphere. So to kind of give an opening statement where it starts with the training, we pretty much just go with how nerve-wracking it is for a new employee to step into a new workplace, kind of out of their comfort zone and whatnot. So, like, what do you do from that point on as a manager, so to speak? So,
yeah. So to begin with when you're starting in a new company or a new firm, whatever it is, as a new employee, it's really important for you to feel welcome there. If you feel welcome there, you're going to be much more likely to be more comfortable asking questions. And if you feel like you fit in better, it's going to be a lot better for cohesiveness with the unit. This all starts with proper training, which is really easy if you could possibly shadow a mentor or a team lead, basically kind of learn off of them and get real life experience as opposed to learning from a simulation or like a computer or whatever. Actually be in the position that you're going to be in and kind of learn from that. And then also you have the ability to ask questions whenever you need to. You have someone there that knows what they're doing, whether it be your manager, team lead, a seasoned employee, someone who knows what they're doing and can help you when you have any questions. This all starts with the training, of course, but also it helps when you're not always going to have someone there with you to help you. So really, what's really important is to have some sort of guideline or trading books or cheat sheet, something you can refer to basically, that you're not always going to have to go ask questions to employees or managers, something that you don't have to bother other people so much, and that you can easily refer to and get the job done without causing too much of a big deal about something really small. Research by Amy Edmondson of Harvard University shows that leaders who are inclusive, humble, and encourage their new employees to ask questions lead to a better learning and work performance.
So now after you've done the training for all the new associates, eventually a year or two kind of goes by. So now you have those employees, and now they're well oriented with the work environment and everything. So what do you do at this point? So some of the tips that I feel like they should be employed, or not employed, but it should be taken into consideration is you want to set company goals. And for example, for us two, we both worked at Lowe's, and I feel like a nice little thing that they did for us is that if you went 60 days without any sort of employee or a customer accident, you would get a barbecue, and they would set a certain kind of budget of how much money you were able to get. And for every other 30 days that you accumulate without having any sort of accident or some sort, that budget builds more and more. And eventually, once you come to the most extended part of that budget, which I believe is a full year without any sort of accident, then it caters to the employees, anybody who works there, pretty nicely and whatnot. So you can get some nice gourmet food and whatnot. You can get something catered, and it's also nice that you divide it up between the different shifts throughout the day. So obviously, like opening shifts, people are coming in 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. They get their take of food. People who work come in late mids or closing shift, they get their warm food. And then also same thing with our night crew guys. They also will come in and they'll get a hot meal too. So that's something that kind of caters to everybody. Another thing that should be taken into consideration is that as you're walking through, your company or, your place of work, if you notice an employee that, that needs some help and whatnot, like go ahead, just take a step out of your comfort zone, maybe give them a hand and whatnot. And that, builds the team unity and the loyalty between everybody. And it kind of goes with the expression that, if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of thing. So it's just kind of that, I'll give you something, you give me something back. And it's just kind of a back and forth thing. So I feel like that's a good thing to kind of utilize in the workplace. And also another thing is just, kind of celebrate, individual accomplishments, such as maybe a full year of no calling out or always coming to work on time. Maybe it's just nice to maybe give them a free, couple of days of like vacation time or something like that. Or I don't know, maybe a gift card or, a company pays for like a nice outing or something like that to like a sports event. Or, some small things like that. And obviously other things that Lowe's has also employed with, kind of giving back to their employees is that we have these morning huddles that they'll mention the top sellers for the day, so people who've sold a certain amount in their respective departments, such as appliances or the seasonal department with their tractors and their barbecues and something like that, or maybe it's flooring, with a redesign in somebody's house. Employee of the month is also a big thing. They take pictures of all the employees who've won for that month and they'll post them in the hallways, and everybody kind of gets that idea. It's a good feeling to kind of embrace when you see that. And then also essentially a good thing to have is the verbal and the social connection within your workplace and whatnot. So give verbal praise, whenever somebody deserves it, kind of thing. If there's a big project that that has occurred and whatnot, thank them, tell them they're doing a great job and whatnot. You like them being there, kind of thing. It really just kind of promotes just a good atmosphere with that. And then there's some statistics to follow up with that. So at the University of California, they found out that people with low social interactions have a 70% chance of dying at an earlier age. So kind of put some emphasis and perspective behind that. They also did further a further connection to that survey, and they found out that with obese people, they only have a 20% chance of dying at an earlier age. People who do excessive drinking, it's only 30%, and then people who do excessive smoking is 50%. So that social connection, that social interaction is very, very key in the workplace. And to kind of further just make my point, in 2004, the Gallup organization surveyed over 200,000 employees and saw that people who received verbal praise are more loyal to the company. There's less turnover. They're stronger at reaching company goals. There's a lot more better communication between everybody. There's a lot of trust, and a lot of people hold themselves accountable for their actions. So I think that's also another good thing to kind of play key into a company and just their success overall.
All right, so basically we went over how positive reinforcement is basically really beneficial to the workplace, and it's really practical, honestly, as well. I mean, it's really easy, and it's a lot easier to start off with if you start with new employees and kind of work them into being in that positive work environment. But it's really important to keep doing it with your seasoned employees as well. I mean, there's a lot of firms that are really good with the new people, and they're really good at welcoming new people and everything. But then as the people have been there for a little bit, they kind of don't cater to them as much and don't seem to care about them as much, and that's where you kind of get into the high turnover. So it's pretty important to make sure every step of that employment, they are constantly, seeing how they feel and everything about how their work environment is basically. So really it's essential, like I said, to have the proper tools, guidelines for new and old associates, and that will equal just basically productivity and cohesiveness in the long run. If everyone knows what they're doing together, everything's going to work a lot better in the end. So 5 ways to create a positive work environment are going to be to give the benefit of the doubt to people. I mean, you don't want to try and create enemies, really. You want to, if someone says they did something, at least give them the benefit of the doubt, unless you know for certain that they're not, or they're not a truthful person. Practice generosity and spirit. I mean, really be thankful for everything. Always say thank you. It really goes a long way with your coworkers. Speak well of others. I mean, you'll be surprised if you say something good about someone else, they will often return those, and it will honestly move everyone up in a positive direction. And look at what works. Find out what works and repeat it. Obviously, this seems essential. I mean, if you're doing the things that work, you guys can be more successful as a company in the end. And just show appreciation. Really, just Show appreciation to your managers, your customers, everyone, and everyone's going to be a lot happier and make it a lot easier to work with. And I'm going to end with a quote by Shiv Kahara. Positive action combined with positive thinking results in success. Thank you.
Thank you.